Hey everyone, and welcome back to Warship Dits. This one we're looking at the ise-class hybrid carriers. Ise-class hybrid carriers were a unique and innovative series of warships developed by the Imperial Japanese Navy during the interwar period. These vessels include the Ise and Hyuga, which initially were laid down as battleships, but were later converted into hybrid carriers, embodying Japan's strategic response to the evolving nature of naval warfare in the 20th century. The ise-class carriers originated as battleships, part of the broader naval expansion program initiated by Japan in the early 20th century. The two ships, Ise and Hyuga, were laid down in 1915 and 1917, respectively. However, by the mid-1920s, IJN recognized the increasing significance of naval aviation and the potential of aircraft carriers. The realization prompted a strategic shift, leading to the decision to convert the ise-class battleships into hybrid carriers. The conversion process of Ise and Hyuga from battleships to hybrid carriers took place between 1934 and 1937. Vessels underwent extensive modification, including the removal of the aft turrets to accommodate a flight deck and hangar for aircraft. The resulting design allowed the Ise ships to operate both traditional battleship armaments, such as large caliber guns, and a modest air wing to make them versatile assets in the Imperial Japanese fleet. These ise-class hybrid carriers were formidable warships boasting a displacement of approximately around 35,000 tons, a length of around 200 meters. Each ship was equipped with a flight deck that could accommodate around 22 aircraft, typically a mix of reconnaissance planes and bombers. The remaining deck space was used for storage and maintenance of aircraft, enhancing the vessel's ability to project air power. Ise was briefly fitted with an aircraft flying off platform for a Mitsubishi 1MF3 fighter on turret number 2 in 1927. This was replaced by a platform on turret number 5 for Yokosuka E-1Y reconnaissance float plane in 1928 and 1929. Catapult and collapsible crane were fitted on the stern during the mid-1930s modernization. The ship was equipped to operate 3 float planes, although no hangar was provided. The initial Nakajima E4N2 biplanes were replaced by Nakajima EAN2 biplanes in 1938. After the Battle of Midway, it became important to the IJN to keep an edge on new air platforms, and these two ships, which were slightly faster than the Fuso, were therefore chosen for more conversions. They emerged at the end of 1943 with a flight deck at the rear. Their 2 rear turrets were removed and recycled for coastal defense, with a central hangar served with elevators and catapults and a complement of 14 D4Y2 Kai Shuzi Model 22 catapulted torpedo bombers and 8 observation Ayachi 816A float planes. They also tested various aircraft such as A6M2N fighters, a seaplane version of the Zero. Ise and Hyuga played active roles during World War II. Their early deployments involved support for the Japanese amphibious operations in China and Southeast Asia. These ise-class carriers participated in several major naval engagements, including the Battle of Midway in June 1942, where they provided air cover for the Japanese fleet. These ise-class carriers earned battle honours for their participation in key naval battles in the Pacific. Notably, both ships were part of the Japanese fleet during the Battle of Leyte Gulf in October 1944. This engagement was one of the largest naval battles in history and saw the Ise and Hyuga playing roles in a complex and multifaceted conflict, including the Battle of Cape Agano. During the Battle of Cape Agano, which took place on October 23 to October 26, 1944, the ise-class hybrid carriers, including Ise itself, were part of the Japanese fleet engaged with the United States Navy in a larger context of the Battle of Leyte Gulf. The Battle of Cape Agano was a crucial component of the overall operation, known as the Battle of Leyte Gulf, which was a series of engagements between the Imperial Japanese Navy and the United States Navy in the waters surrounding the Philippines. During the Battle of Cape Agano, Ise played an important role in the decoy force that was tasked with diverting attention away from the Japanese main force. The decoy force, also known as the Northern Force, consisted of carriers, battleships, and cruisers, and its primary goal was to draw away American carriers and create an opportunity for a powerful Japanese battleship force, including the Yamato and Musashi, to approach and attack the vulnerable American landing forces of Leyte. The Ise, along with their other ships in the Northern Force, launched air raids against American task forces. The objective was to convince the US Navy that the main Japanese fleet was positioned in the north, prompting the Americans to redirect their carriers away from the vulnerable landing forces near Leyte. The Japanese decoy force, however, was not as formidable or well equipped as the American carriers in the region. While the Japanese decoy force achieved some initial success in drawing away American carriers, the overall Battle of Leyte Gulf was a decisive victory for the United States. The Japanese northern forces suffered heavy losses during the engagement. The Ise and her sister ship, the Hyuga, survived the battle, but their aircraft were not able to prevent the larger defeat that unfolded for the Imperial Japanese Navy in the other parts of the battle. The Battle of Cape Pagano and the Battle of Leyte Gulf as a whole marked a turning point in the Pacific War. The defeat of the Japanese fleet significantly weakened the Japanese naval capabilities, particularly in its carrier forces, and it paved the way for Allied advances towards the Japanese mainlands. On February 6th, the division sailed for Singapore and participated in Operation Kita. While approaching Singapore, Ise was slightly damaged by a mine. Given temporary repairs at the former British naval base there, Ise and Hyuga and the light cruiser Oyoda were loaded with critically needed strategic supplies: oil, rubber, tin, zinc, and mercury. Around 1,150 surplus oil workers were to be ferried back to Japan as well. The division sailed from Singapore on the 10th of February and was spotted by a British submarine HMS Tantalus the following day. It was forced to submerge. On the 13th of February, the submarine USS Bergal unsuccessfully attacked the ships, as did the submarine USS Blower. One of Ise's AA guns caused one of the Blower's torpedoes to detonate prematurely. Later that afternoon, Oyoda launched one of her float planes, which spotted the USS Bashaw on the surface about 22 kilometers away, ahead of the convoy. Hyuga opened fire with her main guns and forced Bashaw to submerge, when one of her shells landed within 1.6 kilometers of the submarine. The convoy reached the Matsu Islands off the Chinese coast, and on the 15th was unsuccessfully attacked by the submarine USS Rasher. Before they reached Shoshan Island near Shanghai that night, the convoy reached Kure on the 20th of February. Having evaded and escaped pursuit by 23 Allied submarines along the way, Nakasa was relieved by Captain Mutaguchi Kakuro. After arriving, the 4th Carrier Division was disbanded on the 1st of March, and Ise was reduced to first-class reserve. From this time until the surrender of Japan, Ise remained docked at Kure without fuel or aircraft, and repainted in an olive green camouflage with fairy-coloured blotches. The camouflage was not effective against American carrier-based aircraft from Task Force 58 on March 19th. When more than 240 aircraft attacked Kure and Ise was hit by 2 bombs. Redesignated as a 4th class reserve ship on the 20th of April, Ise was towed to the islands of Ondo, Seto, between Kure and Kurishima, to serve as a floating anti-aircraft battery. He was attacked again on the 24th of July by 60 carrier-based aircraft, whose bombs hit the starboard, bar, flight deck, main deck, number 3 turret and bridge, killing Mutaguchi, their bridge personnel, and around 50 crewmen. Many other crewmen were wounded. The ship settled by the bar. It took 3 days to pump her dry. The IGM planned to dry dock her for repairs, but she was struck by 5 150-kilogram bombs dropped by F4U crosshairs from the USS Hancock, and 11 more bombs dropped by other aircraft from Task Force 58 on July 28th. Later that day, an attack by 18 US AAF consolidated P-24 Liberator heavy bombers was unsuccessful. However, due to damage from previous raids, Ise took on a 15-degree list to the starboard and sank into the shallow water. Some facts about Ise. She was 38,850 long tons, had a length of 219 meters, beam of 31 meters, draft of 9 meters, maximum range of 9,500 nautical miles at 16 knots, complement of 1,463. She had a Type 21 air search radar, Type 2 Type 13 early warning radars, 2 Type 22 surface search radars. She had twin 35.6cm guns, 8 twin 12.cm dual purpose guns, 31 triple and 11 single 2.5cm AA guns, and 6 times 30 round 12.7cm AA rocket launchers, and carried between 22 to 24 planes with 2 aviation catapults. Despite her versatility and innovative design, the ise-class hybrid carriers faced the challenges inherited from being a compromise between battleships and aircraft carriers. The rapidly changing nature of naval warfare, with an increasing emphasis on carrier-based power, eventually renders such hybrid carriers obsolete. In conclusion, these A-class hybrid carriers represent a fascinating chapter in naval history, illustrating Japan's attempt to adapt to the evolving dynamics of warfare. These ships, with a unique combination of battleship and carrier capabilities, played some important roles during World War II, leaving an undeniable mark on the annals of naval warfare and history due to their unique designs and capabilities. With that, everyone, thanks again for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of Warship Dits. If you have, please remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment, especially if you want to know more about things, or if you want me to do a video on a certain ship, or one with the naval history, or tactic, or something like that. Please do let me know down in the comments. As well as, please do remember to join us over in Discord. Anyways, with that, everyone, thanks again for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video.